Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. It's your boy, Big Johnny Stud, and the fastest freaking show in MLB absolutely anywhere. Corked Stats. Follow me on Twitter at John Legaza Flow. Sharper than a razor. Same handle over on Substack, where $2 a week get you 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound box. Find out what all the hubbub is about. Welcome aboard to all the new members and anybody that was up overnight with us on the Source Network. My shout out to you. You are the real ones, but we got work to do. Let's fucking go get them. Listen, I don't know, sign up. It's every freaking thing. It's everything. All right. The best part of waking up. It's a pitching sheets in your mug. Up before you are every damn day, 7 days a week. You get the data and the ranks. I guess we could just kind of flip through it. You know, it's everything, right? You're going to get Algo and Scores will be covering those with that has edge calculations. Plus there are the show picks and base props. I've got bullpen stats last year and this year, team offensive stats. Those are advanced and split by lefty and righty. We'll be dealing with those, the pitching sheets, both view only and sortable, and then individual hitters plus the cooked bullpen report, implied team totals, SP ranks, and strikeout projections. And me. What else could be better than me, right? Besides like fucking everything. All right. We got a full slate today, but it's also chopped up. First comment, we got Guy Boston Sports. Been loving these, John. Yo, there is nothing cooler than hooking up with new people. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it. Appreciate you, Bean Towner. Fellow degenerate, right? And I mean that the best way. We're not like the loser degenerates. We're obsessed with learning. We're obsessed with winning. We are going to get up in that ass. Baseball's version of 300. Give the book nothing. Take from that bitch everything. This isn't fucking madness. It's Sparta, bitch. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's start at the nighttime stuff. It's opening day, so the schedule's a little bit weird. I normally love Fridays because it's a full nighttime slate, maybe like a Wrigley sprinkled in. Today, it's really kind of jammed up. So we're going to do what we do. We'll do the nighttime block, the afternoon block, and we're going to we're going to get shorter as we go because, again, it's really hard to get by. Deadpool hitter, happy gabagool. Yo, make sure everyone you're following my boy Rob DiPietro, the Deadpool hitter, on Twitter. If you're like a fantasy player at all, especially high stakes in particular, Rob has kind of carved out something really special in the NFBC community. Yeah, it's like, it's legit. Like you get access to the best players in the world, and if they're cool and respectful, they'll like talk to you and stuff. Yeah, I don't know how you could beat it. There, it's a whole thing. So hook up with Rob in the Brain Trust. But for now, let's dive into the things. I'm trying to get a little bit more run in the fantasy community. I think, fantasy players set their stuff for the week. And generally, we're doing stuff every day. I think if you're a daily player, I don't think you could beat it. So let's do it. It's 2 first names on the bump. Chad Patrick on the hill for the Cheesemakers. Leaving Beertown, heading down to KC. They're going to be facing Luinder Avila. That was Michael Waka Flocka originally on the schedule, but he got pulled. I think he's sick. Now, the reason I'm a little bit worried is not so much Avila, who's probably just going to pitch an inning out of the pen. From what I gather, it's Bailey Falter waiting in the wings. Uh-oh. Yeah, no shit, man. So, I was really surprised the line didn't move here. Like, if you were telling me that we were close to even Chad Patrick v. Michael Waka, I could kind of buy it right now. I kind of like the Milwaukee offense a little better than KC. They're hitting right now. The disciplinary stuff has been off the charts. I'm going to bring up Milwaukee. If you look up on the screen, all the red, all my formatting. Oh, that's funny. Right in tune with Rob. And Rob, if you don't catch a show all the time, I shout you out every so often for putting me onto the 90th and 10th percentile formatting. It really cleans up your understanding. And I get a lot of positive feedback about that. What we're talking about, people, is all the shading that you see. Although, by the way, on my sheets, red is good, like fucking Savant, right? I think of hot and cold because it matches Baseball Savant. Whatever, it's each their own. Anyway, when you see bright colors, it doesn't have to be the third highest, because if 25 teams are condensed in a shit place, you're the fifth best, but you're still terrible, the sixth best, and you're terrible. So that percentile formatting, it just really ups your ability to kind of understand in real time. So Milwaukee, just across the board, doing everything, right? It's not just striking out and taking walks while being patient, but making contact and not chasing. Few too many balls in the ground, but they are hitting it hard. And again, it's early. The Royals, the disciplinary stuff is clean, and the elevation stuff is ticking up. So I think the Royals are about to get up off the mat, but who knows? Oh, yes. When it's going to happen, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. Timing baseball is really tough. We just try and look for those, skill-based leading indicators. The Royals are really freaking talented. We got to look. Deadpool's up there, says, "Miss you, brother. Thanks, pal." Yeah, you're the man, Rob. Hell yeah. You're the man, dude. Yeah, go ahead. Shout me out in your Discord. Like, there are probably degenerates who want more content that don't know, because I'm very bad at promoting my own stuff. So if you're into fantasy, you're gonna have a hard time beating Rob's stuff, to be honest. It's just what it is, because it's very personal. So back to the task at hand. Patrick v. Waka, you could have sold me on being close. After this move, I don't know, man. I don't think Chad Patrick getting enough love. Last year, 124 starter innings, although right now this is a 2025-26 conglomerate. I do have base stats for 2026 only if you go all the way right. So Patrick pitched 4 1/3, had a 208 ERA. Right, we don't want to overreact, but I think it's good to have it framed, right? We want to start framing 26 as we move away from it. Anyway, Patrick's had a pretty good profile, right? The command and control is strong. He's getting ahead, can induce chases. Now, he's going to be up in the zone a bit. Maybe that's the worry with the wind in KC, although yesterday that turned out to be a fucking wet fart for everybody. That was like betting home runs and shit. That was fucking Ugazza. So, yeah, I'm a little stuck here. I'm a little stuck. Milwaukee Penn has also been awesome. 105 ERA, sub 1 whip. Royals have a 9 ERA, nearly 2 whip. Ursig is rested, and he's pretty good, but if it's Falter, who's getting the 6th inning? I don't know, man. I got to be honest. I'm really thrown off by this price. I hate being overly confident, but you got to give me Milwaukee. That's the same. We also had the under, but I'm going to also put the Milwaukee money line. I thought that was going to be on there also. So yeah, I'm to the under 8.5. I'm a little worried. Maybe Milwaukee smokes KC. KC, I have them losing, so we do get the 9th frame. Other than that, it's Good Friday. It's in the Lord's hands. Who knows? Next up, it's the Nature Boy, Brian. Woo! Minus 155. Dog on the road, heading down to L.A. to face the Halos and Reed Detmers going for the Angels. Was Detmers filthy the first time out? No, I think he came out of the box hot. He ended up getting touched. Brian Wu, since I have fantasy on the brain, it's just going round and round. Last year was the same thing. We identified Brian Wu as being one of the single best pitchers on a per inning basis. Of course, fantasy is a year-long marriage and investment. I couldn't get there with all the fucking arm strains and stuff. Well, he's still fucking ticking, and betting or daily is a 1-day contract. Right now he's healthy, and he's looking freaking good. He shoved the first time out, if I'm not mistaken. He was really good. Listen, Wu does everything. He probably throws the 4-seamer a little too much for my liking, but you know what? If you have a 32 ball rate, 66 first strikes, you do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? It works. It works. Wu pulls the string on the off-speed stuff. He's very, very good. And if I'm not mistaken, even the split stuff is super strong. He's like death to lefties as a right-handed pitcher. Lefties bat 195 of him with, 390 batters, sub 600 OPS. He's got the stanky filth. Detmers, I also think, is filthy on a per inning basis. I worry a little bit about the command and control, though it's not really reflecting in all of the underpinning stuff. Maybe he just feels a little bit wild inning to inning, though you could see some of the luck stuff was pretty whack last year, right? 72 left on base, 354 BABIP, double-digit homer to fly ball with the suppressed overall fly ball rate. yeah, I don't know. Detmers is probably better than maybe people give him credit for. I know the fantasy like market is already on Detmers, but I think the pitching stuff is probably close, maybe a little bit closer than the heavy price. Shoot over to the offense, man. I hate to split fucking lefty righty right now. I have the stats. I don't mean I hate to do the work. I hate to refer to it because it's a little too early. I mean, it's 85 plate appearances. I just can't get there. We got to use overall right now if we're looking at 2026. Neither one of these teams has really gotten out of the box really well. Mariners striking out a ton. That's carried over from last year. Angels also striking out a ton. That's carried over, but they're doing the. Oh, it's funny, right? With Rob, Rob. I mean, you come up all the time. Again, the Deadpool stuff, right? I've also, done work in that field. Me and Rob were kind of doing like parallel construction is the word. Working on this kind of same thing independently and coming to similar conclusions that elevated, pulled, batted balls are like the fucking Cadillac of fucking batted balls, East Coast thing right there. Another fresh comment, Mark Jordan. It says roof will be open in Texas today. I respect that, Mark. Thank you very much. I've actually been hooking up with Paquette trying to get some weather stuff going. I'm not great with that, and I'm also not great with the roof stuff. However, with all the AI and sharp people out there, I should have a better list. I take L's, right? L for love. I take L's in public. I don't give a fuck. I don't think it's listed the thing I look at, for weather, because it's all very basic. Did we? All right, I guess I'm just gonna have to. I got to keep one of mine. My fucking service is like chop it up. We'll get to that one. In a little bit. While I had it on my mind, I was trying to address it, but this is why I got to be careful with the comments because I'm like the dog in Up. I'm like squirrel, and I just lost completely. Squirrel, I'm lost. So Mark Jordan 2112 shout out. Also Arizona. I'm gonna try to remember it, but remember I'm fucking shot, so it doesn't always stick. All right, back to the matter at hand. I'm feeling a little bit of a misprice on the Mariners. Again, it's always kind of expected here. Check it out as I bring up the Algo, and the algorithm says yeah, the strongest lean is probably to the under unless that total's moved. I've been, man, I just took an L. I didn't want to take another one right away, but I have to. Of course it fucking moved. I have a bad habit of printing my model before I put plays in. And when you fucking, you motherfuckers, when the Sharks get there, you start munching on the fucking value, it's gone in 2 seconds. So that 4.5 was out there for all of 3 seconds after I posted. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yo, shout out Bunchu. Follow him up on Twitter. Also, very sharp cat. Bid. Can bid you 9.5 minus 13 on Calci. Brewers KC. If that is true, that is the play you want. Okay, so again, shout out Bunchu again. I think that's the X handle. Yo, guys, if you do any kind of fucking content or social media shit, put your handle in the fucking thing. I'm a rising tide lifts all boats. You know what I mean? No one is gonna dump me for you or you for me. Listen, we all gotta kind of work together. So let me hide this thing. No one wants to see my face, but yeah, make sure you're shopping around prices. Gosh, I can't get distracted right now, but I need to address the prediction market stuff and how it's not only how fees are affecting the work, because I obviously am a trader at heart, like I understand fees. Where I was getting effed, because again, I've been making little baby bets, just tracking percentages and figuring out where the fuck we stand, that this is actually scalable. And they're not listing a true price factoring fees. So this was actually the Milwaukee game. So Milwaukee was listed at 50%, easy math, plus 100. You can convert the odds, they were minus 110. So you got to be careful. Now, again, our man just was very clear with the correct pricing, but you do have to be careful because, again, where I got caught, and that's why I was doing it, was I had, it wasn't last night, but it was when we first started. I'm like, wait, I took a 50%, and it doesn't list at 50%. So just a little more work going on. In short, the synopsis is, Cliff Notes version is, I think the value trying to capture CLVs is gonna be in totals and not in money lines, right? If you're in front of a line total and the total fucking moves, you're gonna eat on that one. There's no way around that. That ticket has, increased in value in a way that is gonna bypass all the fees. Okay, let's get past that. So I've got Seattle with the win, but too close for comfort for the price. Funny, on my sheet, we were laughing about this in the show. I wrote, oh, it actually is here. It's just not blowing up. So I had under 7.5. If that's moved to 7, I think I'm out. So I'm going to expect the pitching to kind of roll. And even if Detmers gives up a few, I think Wu shoves and we don't get the, I don't think we get the 8 here. And you know what? Hold on. Here we go. Womp, womp, womp. The total moved to 8, so these things, I didn't make a move, but I got to take my L's. That total is 8. And I'm going to be completely honest. I give a shit less. When you have, again, the type of experience that I have in trading markets, baseball CLV is not Sunday morning NFL CLV. Do not conflate the two things. I'm going under. Like, I'm trailing the price. Take it to 8.5. I don't give a fuck. You take it to 10. I'm going under the shit. I don't care what the movement is. We did our work. We have our fair price. Give me you 8 on that bad boy for sure. Let me just change the numbers on the sheet here. Okay, next up, this one's basically over or nothing. I think it's the first game in Sacramento. Christian Javier, who got blown up against Jeffrey Poland Springs, who, despite being a good pitcher, is probably going to get blown up. I don't have home road stuff here. I'm not the biggest home road guy. For certain people, it matters. And it just happens to matter for everybody. For the A's, we saw it with Severino. He had like a 3 road ERA and like a 6+ home ERA. And if I'm not mistaken, Springs might be very similar in 25. Let me just check them. I'm like almost positive. Okay, not as stark because I think he cleaned it up at the end of the season. But regardless, 4.8 at home, 3.45 on the road. Pretty big difference. The other problem with Springs in particular, speaking to this park, let me bring this up on the board. So you can see I have the velo stuff here. My stuff plus, remember, it's the F's are capitalized, right? Not for health. It's clever, right? That's stuff plus on the 4-seamer, right? That's why it says up there FF only, right? I like to isolate 4-seamers as the foundational piece of the arsenal. I'll go on from there. Eno Saris, my compadre and colleague over at The Athletic, listen, develop this stuff plus, it's fucking great, right? If I had to choose, is it great or is it stupid? It's fucking great, right? He's closer to brilliant than dumb. That's not up for debate. My issue has always been using stuff plus on off-speed stuff because I believe it's more a function of the fastball, right? Changing eye plane, disparity in speed, tunneling, and arm angles, how these things work, plus sequencing, right? To me, that's where off-speed stuff comes into play, and I think trying to quantify it on its own is a bit misleading. This feels like maybe what happened with the sweeper, right? The sweepers were all overgrading, hitters adjusted, and it had to come down. So if you're retraining your model like that, there's something going on, right? The fastball stuff is not going to change, right? That kind of is what it is. So there we go. Pouring out your nose when you rock with us. You know how we come on. You know how we roll. So the problem with Springs, again, very bad stuff plus on a low velo 4-seamer that he throws entirely too much. Oh, and he's a fly ball pitcher like this, like that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. That's not how you do it. Age bets 1, any first inning game props you would bet on. Okay, you know what? This is actually cool. I would say not right now, although also LaGrosse Brie up in the comments. Good morning, BCG. Home slice. What's going on, brother? You are the man. So back to the first inning stuff. I am not a big first inning guy. I like to be honest. Single game baseball samples are small. 5 inning sample games are really small. 1 inning samples are kind of fucking nuts. That said, I would probably lean into, the model strength, right? You're looking at only the starter stuff, which is awesome. And then, look for the highest and lowest scores. Obviously, you got to be careful not to chase a total because one number can't be high. I would say we would want two totals. All right, I'm going to do the small tangent. Two totals at like 2 or under on the F5. So, like, briefly, what, like, Nerfies? I mean, Nerfy's going to be a little tough, man. Nerfy's going to be a little tough. St. Louis, Detroit is bordering, but I'm a little worried about Detroit getting to McGreevy. Again, Singer Gore, but I worry about Texas getting to Singer in the first. Maybe Wu Detmers is the Nerfy. The Yerfies are the opposite, right? The Javier Springs that we're talking about now, Nola, Lorenzen, and Coors, but those are all fucking juiced up to the balls. Again, I'm not the biggest fan. Brian Rose up in the piece. We are totally getting the band back together. I know, bro. This is fucking awesome. This is fucking awesome. I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. Yo, thank you for the interactions and the views. We are like doing the thing that we set out to do. AM 41120 up in the house. Still going through early games. We've done this so far. Dodgers Nats over 9.5. Tigers Cardinals 7.5. Marlins Yankees. I gotta just do the comments at the end. It's crazy. We can do this is more like a space. All right, now let's see. This is what happens. Let's put up the guardrail, get the Tasmanian Devil back on track, and fucking finish the show like respectable human beings. The closest I can do to that. All right, so this one again is pretty easy. If you do believe in Javier, which I'm having trouble getting around on, this is not the spot to go with him. If you believe in Springs, again, this is not the spot for me. It's over or nothing. Although I think the model has the A's for a win. So if you're looking for, a plus money play, I have the A's to win, but I don't even like to pick sides in these pinball machines. Like, yo, you can have that. There's 15 games tonight. There's absolutely no need to press. Next up, it's the Bravos. Grant Holmes on the hill, leaving the dirty, heading over to the desert to face Erod. He had that really strong start. Grant Holmes did not. And not that I got whipsawed, because again, I'm still in demo mode. I like to watch the first week or two before I totally go. So you don't want to get smoked in the first week, right? Show you that you could be profitable and then move. Being responsible is going to take you pretty far. So Holmes was bad. I think he's going to be good. Erod was good. I think he's going to be bad. Again, I don't want to be jumping on one game. Holmes, that sample 25-26 was not great. And again, he kind of struggled with injuries and stuff. But even when bad, he still generates a lot of whiffs and he keeps the ball down. He's a pretty tough customer. Erod, on the other hand, he struggles with command and control and getting ahead. Again, he was good. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to be drinking the Kool-Aid on like a 5-inning start, for a veteran that I'm just really not too hot on. I had to check the matchup because I forgot, man, it was at the Dodgers too, right? I forgot. That's what kind of shocked everybody. But yeah, I'm not buying it. I picked the Braves. I didn't bet the Braves. Right now, it's not making the ticket because of my worry. But if we're just going by model, I've got Fairline value -110, which is pretty close on the favorite. Again, you got to account for slippage and pricing. Again, I'm looking at one price. I don't have this like synced to, pricing mechanisms and stuff. You always need to be shopping. So whenever you're within like a tick or a tick and a half of Fairline value on a favorite, you're right on the nose with the market. So yeah, I like Holmes because I think I like the Braves over the damn Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are starting to click up. There's some underpinning stuff that we like. They kind of feel like a horse-drawing to me. The youngsters on that team, I just think I want to see a little more from first. The front of the Diamondbacks lineup is fucking good, man. Marte, Carroll, Perdomo. Even if I'm not necessarily buying like a Perdomo repeat, he's a good ball player. Then like Moreno, Arenado, Alec Thomas, Carlos Santana, it really feels very like dollar store version of the guys they had last year. You had Suarez and fucking Naylor. These guys are legit. Naylor in particular, like legit professional MLB hitter. Gino Suarez, legit MLB power hitter. Like, you're putting fear in people's hearts. I'm not sure they feel that way about Arenado and Thomas and Santana. Again, Fernandez got called up. He had the 2 ding dongs. I don't know. He's not like a super prospect or anything. So, and then Lawler too. Lawler's having a nice start to the season, but you see where I'm going. The Diamondbacks are like asking for a lot. There's not like a lot of track record there, where the Braves had the track record, didn't get the performance. There was a lot of injuries last year. They're kind of coming out of the box hot, right? They were the originator of the fucking underdog fucking bell, because they were the one we were all waiting for to get up off the mat, and they're out in front right now. It's discipline, it's power. They're kind of doing everything, and they're also hitting lefties very well. I think it's the league's best ex-Wobicon, right? That's your damage metric. You have like a single digit, like a 1.5% K minus BB versus lefties. Braves offense is good. Like Austin Riley's good. And that's looking like a strong fantasy pick. Again, sometimes fantasy is a lot like betting, where you're just identifying values. Like Austin Riley used to be like a top 25 overall player. Do guys that get hurt that are not catastrophic injuries, do they really just become terrible? I usually bet no, especially when it's cheap. So I like the break. Maybe I should be thinking more about a total here. The bullpen, I think, is what sold me. And not to be jumping on small sets, the Braves bullpen's been fucking unhittable. 142 ERA, 0.75 whip, and a 178 BA through 25 in a third. The Diamondbacks have been disgusting. They also, like, it's weird. Sauce and I were mentioning the injuries. Yes, the Diamondbacks are injured. Those injuries also happened a fucking long time ago. So, like, if we're talking about, like, where's, what's his face, AJ Puck, that's not a new injury. They didn't reload where they should have. That bullpen was a little bit of a nightmare coming in as a potential worry, and now that's kind of materialized. Now, Seawald and Loaisiga, 1-2 punch. There were going to be days where they look unhittable. After that, I don't know. I was also trying to think of Justin Martinez was the other name. But after that, man, I don't know. They've been running out. Taylor Clark and Kevin Ginkel, he looks broken. Both of these guys have an ERA north of 15. You got to give me the Braves. Maybe I should be, again, thinking about the total. Very last thing, I promise I'll move on. Got to check. I'm going to start incorporating this back into the work. I forgot. My apologies, Jason. Highlighting 3.5. Team totals that are 3.5 or 2.5. I don't want to say they're not auto bets. There are no automatic bets, but those are bets we want to highlight because they just shift everything so wildly. They shift all the percentages, expected, because the baseline is 4.5. So that's where most of the math comes from. No, it's 4.5. So give me the Braves, give me liberty, or give me death, right? Give me the Bravos win, or give me death. But I'm a little bit worried, maybe because the Braves are at home and we're getting the 9th frame. I should be looking at the 5 runs, but I'm going to get back on the handlebar mustache and Grant Holmes. Next up, let's go Mets go. Nolan McLean on the bump against the Gigantes. Tyler Mahle on the hill for the San Francisco Treats. A little Rice-A-Roni action, plus 117 for the home team. Man, Mahle probably does not get enough respect for being as good as he is on a per inning basis. He's kind of similar to Brian Wu, Listen, give me Mahle today. Can't invest in him for fantasy and best ball, which I love to play. I just don't have any faith that these guys can get you, 25 starts or 30 starts, heaven forbid. Market's getting a little cold on the Mets, huh? Funny. The Mets are, of course, to come out and you get all the World Series favorite stuff and a beast and supposed to be this great lineup. And I think the Mets are going to be really good, but for whatever reason, they just haven't hit this really long stretch. I deal in independent events. I think the Mets win. I think we have a misprice here, even though my fair line is coming in at 115. This is me speaking because I think the bullpens are a big difference. Giants bullpen is pitched well. I'm just not really buying it. I think the Mets have the three-phase edge. I think the Mets offense is significantly better than the Giants. I mean, look at the Giants' overall stuff. The power basket is terrible. 50% ground ball rate. They don't take walks. I mean, they have a 620 OPS. I know the Mets is not much better. So, like, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander and vice versa. But sheesh, man, I just can't get there. I'm not buying it from the back of the San Francisco bullpen. I'm not buying into the bullpen. Maybe I should be fading this one, but I just think McLean is so special. You know, he is like, I mean, from a rookie to go 221, 106 ERA whip combo, 31K, 22.5 KBB, nearly 33 CSW. He's so freaking good. And like, imagine if he starts getting ahead of hitters. We saw how filthy he could be in the WBC, man. McLean just looks like he's got, top end. All right, that'll do it for the nighttime stuff. Let me get an idea of who's playing in the afternoon, and we're going to do just a quick board read. Again, not to be selfish, but like the daytime content just does so poorly that I don't want to waste people's time, I'm including my own either. So who's playing in the afternoon? I think there's a clump of 4. There is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 5 games. We're going to build up a parlay starting with, I got Cincy, Texas, and Chicago. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 games. Here we go. Get it ready. Bring up your betting boards, everybody. We're going to do this one lickety split. Brady waiting signal on the bump for the Reds plus 144 dog against Mackenzie Gore and the Texas Rangers minus 150 for Texas. I'm really worried about the Reds offense again. I bit into this fucking spring training stuff again. I really like Matt McLean and these guys, but they've been so bad. The Reds just not hitting. The Reds are just not hitting at all, and it's killing me, of course. And I think we have the pitching edge. I think Gore's got the edge there. Also, I'm not crazy about the Reds bullpen. I'm not into the Rangers bullpen either, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think we're going to get a cover here. Singer pitching to contact against the Rangers squad. That's a little bit heavy, a little bit better against righties, against a little early for split data. This being one of the cases that I think you can use it is because the Rangers are a platoon team. And it's a different squad, when they face righties and lefties. Jock Peterson and Evan Carter, is a pretty tremendous boost when you figure how these guys hit against southpaws. And then, even I guess I care less about like Nimmo and Seager, more like professional hitters, but yeah, again, the Rangers are just always going to be a little bit more dangerous against righties. I got Rangers with the cover. So that's where I'm going to go. I just think we're going to mop them up. We get the home opener thing going on. Me and Sauce, sorry, we were laughing about that last night. And I joke because it's not something that like you model, but it also feels kind of, I don't want to say foolish, but it feels weird to like ignore, as if it's not a real thing that place is going to be, freaking electric. You know what I'm saying? I am just struggling. I am down so bad trying to bring up my betting board right now. Bear with me one more second or I'll just abandon it. I'll build it later. I wanted to build. Okay, here we go. So give me Texas run line, and then we're going to get back on track and hopefully make some damn money today, right? That'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to hit a parlay? Then we wouldn't have to be so poor. All right, we're getting plus money on the Rangers. Let's get a little freaking greedy, though. Honestly, like, if you are parlaying, you should just play the money line. So all that for, not say nothing, but kind of nothing. Next up, my boy Joey Boyle on the bump for the Flat Fucking Fish of Florida on the road. Even money against Bailey Ober and the Twins. I am not buying that at all. Ray's bullpen has been a little bit of a headache I want to cut this one to 5. Not that I like the Twins bullpen either. I think Ober kind of stinks, man. I wish I wasn't so damn worried about the Rays bullpen because Boyle's not really a distance guy, but he cleaned up the command and control. And if that's the case, he's going to be legit. They're going to have a hard time sending him down. So I think this one's a misprice. I think the Rays offense is at least as good as the Twins, if they're not better, even if I don't love them. I don't really like the Twins, so this one to me was a little bit of a misprice. Again, model reflecting that. Remember, I build the model, right? Think of it like a paper airplane. I build it and throw it. I don't tell it where to land. Now it's not like it goes anywhere, right? Because I'm trying to hit a mark and we're constantly gauging it and calibrating it to make sure that we're on track. But it's like my nerdy best friend. Somebody described it as that, and I love that, right? Don't think of it as something you have to like look at and bet by. Oh, it says this, so this is what's going to happen. Understand what it's telling you. And I built this thing and I'm trying to sell it to you, but I also don't want you to be misled. Right? All it is a mathematical argument for a mean outcome. That's it. Boop. That's it. Right? If you and I are way off and you disagree with the model, I can explain it through numbers. Doesn't mean I'm right, and it doesn't mean you don't have an argument. I want to be very clear. But that's what this is, right? Just to put it in perspective, what do the numbers say? Where might we be misaligned? Because again, we all have biases. So this one is one that does check out with the math. Give me, my boy Joey B. Again, I like it at 5, but I think the Rays get the win on the road. Next up, Aaron Nola. He's on the road against Colorado. Oh, this bet was like if this didn't move, I'm gonna be in shock. So let's not bury the lead because I do entirely too much talking. A 10.5 total in Colorado. We always say the same thing. It's over or nothing. But what that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a game over. It means bet into scoring. Now the line moved a little bit. Maybe we could do a little better than the minus 140. It was minus 130 last night. But the Rockies are 3.5 full game in Coors against Arizona. You gotta take it. The Rockies' offense has not been good. But the thing they have done are the things that play up in Coors. So like the Rockies pull line drives. They've hit doubles and stolen bases. That's like how you score in Coors, right? They're not a great contact team, but it's the right kind of contact to find gaps, to find grass, and then they're like willing to run. So even if whatever fucking Yo-Yo is pitching, even if Lorenzen, who was good during the baseball classic, but still, even if Lorenzen gets destroyed, we're just on the Colorado total. And let's say they really kick the snot out of him. We're loving that anyway because we'll get the worst end of the Phillies bullpen. Plus, we're a very heavy underdog. So we should be expecting 9 frames. In the case we don't get 9 frames, we probably scored 4 runs. I mean, if not, we're going to be kicking ourselves because the other answer is to be under, right? That's what, to be under 6? Right, for us to not hit 4 and the game to still go under, whatever. So yeah, give me Colorado, just the raw score. Not like I think Nola is trash. I just think Coors is undefeated. And if they could stretch him or tack an easy one, we get too early, we get too late, we're kind of home free. Next up, it's Kate Horton Here's a Who. Going for the Baby Bears, right side of the tracks in the Windy City on the road in Cleatown against my boy Joey Cantillo. Although these are both guys I was really high on for fantasy. Horton more than Cantillo. Horton came out and fucking shoved. However, for some reason, maybe it's weather related, usually the case. Although it's in Cleveland, right? It wasn't listed. Okay, we're listed. It posted. Okay, 7.5, which I got. I'm to the under on this one, right? I've got 4-3 either way. Wind blowing across at 10 miles an hour, 71 degrees outside with like, I guess, mid humidity. So it's not crazy conditions. The total is based off of pitching, which I think makes sense. Cantillo wasn't great. I think he's in a pretty nice bounce back spot. Oh, I was trying not to do any flipping around. We're just trying to board read. So I've got the Cubs for the win. I do not like the Cleveland offense. I don't think they get to Horton. So I'm going to take the Cubs money line on this one. Well, let me back up to my MLs. I'm actually building this thing in real time, finding that Rockies bet. Took me a second. All right, we're back on track. I'm seeing minus 115s out there again. Anytime you're betting, you should be pricing. They kind of go, they really go hand in hand. We should have one more. We do. This one I didn't get either. I hate capital H being this, not to say overconfident, but like to feel this strongly even about a bet in a game and a price. It makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Kyle Bradish, borderline ace, minus 115 against Mitch Keller, not ace. I get it's like Pirates home opener, Connor Griffin debuting. I mean, I made a fucking stupid face right there. But the fact of the matter is, one player really doesn't move much on the model, even Judge. But let's say short of, the best 5 players you get to go. A rookie debut. I got news for you. If it's going to move a model, it's going to be down. Right? That's just, again, that's the math, right? You could say Griffin is different. Griffin is special. They're serving a different hot dog in the fucking stadium. I don't know. That's a totally different thing, right? That's a totally different thing. Just saying. I don't know. I'm not buying this. I don't get it. Keller is pitch to contact, struggles with lefties a little bit. Baltimore, the better offense, lots of really strong lefties. Okay, though I'm calling this a parlay, and I'm going to bet it because I said it. So now, once I said it, I got to bet it, even if I'm going to regret it. But I'm going to be taking these straight. Like, to me, those are straight. Those are straight plays. We want Horton straight. We want Bradish straight. And as I kind of talk through it, just feels like it's this home bias. That's just kind of what it feels like. So I don't buy that. And I guess that's part of why I'm on the other side of this stuff. But yeah, give me a nice strong afternoon parlay. I've got a plus 1660 roughly. Texas with the win, Tampa with the F5 win, Rockies scoring more than 4, Cubs and Baltimore to bring it home. And then let's do one more board read for the Sky Rockets in flight. Afternoon delight. We got games on at 1 o'clock, which I get. It's 10:30 as of live recording. I chop it immediately. It goes onto Substack. If you're a paid subscriber, you get the podcast immediately. If not, you got to wait a few minutes. Though, because I'm consistent, like with time release and length of episode, apparently they prioritize you. They go out fast, and I don't rip episodes down. I don't make the rules. I just try and follow them. It's usually out in like 15 or 20 minutes. But even still, it only leaves a couple hours for people to listen to this shit. So it's kind of stupid. Let's do this one even faster than the last one. All right, first up, my boy Emmett Sheehan on the bump for the Trolley Dodgers against Miles Michaelis and the Nats. I think there's only 2 ways to play this. You either have to, bet the Dodgers to kill. Though, again, this game was not listed. My bookie does not have fucking starters up right now. Something fishy going on. DraftKings does have Sheehan and Michaelis listed, but something weird going on. I'm just praying it's not an Emmett Sheehan elbow strain. I shouldn't even said it out loud. Anyway, I got Dodgers cover or an over, meaning I think the Dodgers score. Hold on, let me check the team total. It's got to be 5.5, and it's probably like 5.5 juiced because they're on the road. But it is worth looking. Yeah, it's 5.5 juice minus 140. I'd rather take my chances on the cover. So that's what I'm marking down. Although, oh my gosh, hold up. Wait a minute. What the fuck? With your big ass. Be careful reading those boards today. I saw, ooh, Dodger cover, minus 114. That sounds pretty good. It's a minus 2.5. I don't think I'm going to pay for anybody to cover 3. I'm not interested. So for me, it's over, and then even that 9 went to 9.5. I was kind of shaded under in case Sheehan shoved. So I'm going to fade this one. I'm not interested. I don't like the uncertainty with this pitching listing. I don't want to get caught with money out there and, get a different roster or whatever input than I thought. Next up, Michael McGreevy on the road for the Cards facing Framber Valdez and the Tigres down in Detroit Rock City. Tigers, pretty heavy favorite. I got that. I know it's not as heavy as the line. I'm at minus 141. It's minus 163. Again, I was talking about this yesterday. I don't want to do it every day, but new listeners, I know I don't want people, especially a day after a Source show. I know there's gonna be sharp people listening. You got to understand that, like, I'm doing the work. There is an element of public bet when people talk about, the public bets over in favorites. Like, that's real. Like, it's a freaking thing. It's a quantifiable thing. But it scales right on like a curve. So the greater the odds, the wider there's this late inning spread. And these games right in the middle, I'm noticing are now creating not a red flag, but just like a thing, fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like that. They end up being off on totals. It's more so in the next game, although I have the favorite ahead. We were talking about that on the show last night. Again, there's so much that goes into this, but yeah, I think Detroit kills. I'm not buying the St. Louis stuff whatsoever. McGreevy, I think, pitched to contact with the lefties in that lineup. I think he's set to get destroyed. I really like Framber. He looked super sharp. I think he's going to shove what I have is kind of a bad St. Louis offense. I think they've kind of overperformed a little bit at 4-2. I do think Weatherholt is good. But again, the Weatherholt and Burleson combo that I actually believe in are both lefties. And then I think that flips the table. So St. Louis, one of the teams that even if we kind of like them to be, scrappy, contact, steal, and score runs, a good underdog to bet on early, I don't think we want them against lefties. So I get Detroit again to cover. Though again, if you're parlaying, you probably want the money line. Minus 175 sucks. I'm going to be greedy. Next up, Yuri Perez on the hill for the Marlins against my New York Yankees and Willie Warren going for the Evil Empire, minus 155. I've got Marlins winning it outright. So the risky play is plus 147 Marlin win. The conservative play, the parlay play, is Marlins plus 1.5 minus 146. To me, that's a massive value. That is a massive, massive value. I'm curious what the F5 might look like. Shit, hold on 1 second. It doesn't. You flip through so many of these pages, they don't all have F5 run line, and what this one is a different setup, and you have to go searching, and it's just all the books have that one thing in common, right? They're actively out there, just trying to slow us down, which is probably a really good pitch for the data here because that's going to speed you up, right? Bottom line. Oh my gosh, everything's so freaking slow today. Sorry, yo. I really want to see the price, though. So it's, again, minus 125. Yuri Perez getting the half run through 5 to avoid the opener and the Yankee plate appearances if you think you have the advantage, which I think we do. But yeah, it's something Marlins, but whatever. Since I went kind of YOLO, on the Tigers. Whatever. Let's stay with the theme of getting freaking wild. As I was talking, the Dodgers run line I just mentioned just flipped to a -1.5. They listed it at -174. Gosh, that is so pricey, but they're on the road. I think they get it. So we got Dodgers cover, we got Detroit cover, we got Marlins win. So it's not all chalky favorites here. Next up, Dylan stop, cease, and desist, going for the Toronto Blue Jays. This one we are back on the donkey stuff. I think they get to the White Sox, though it might be the bullpen. Sorry, there's gardeners right outside my freaking window right now. Grant Taylor is going to open. We got VQ Lopez. You like Tigers? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. On the Tigres. And then we got the bet. Let's giddy up and go. Word. Thank you for the comments. They really help to boost the show and the algorithm and help get like subscribers and stuff. You know, rate, review, subscribe, all that dumb shit. Yeah, Tigers, I think a great spot. Tigers, one of the teams we want to be looking at when they're facing. I'm sorry, I have noise cancellation on my mic. This must sound terrible. Whenever the Tigers are facing a contact righty, those lefties, I think, take over. Oh my gosh, we got to get out of here. I got to be killing people's eardrums right now, more so than normal. So Grant Taylor is going to pitch for the White Sox, but the follow, I don't know who it's going to be. You know, Taylor is only going to give you an inning or two. Then, like, is it Sean Burke? I guess perhaps, who again I'm not, enamored with. And then you kind of get the bullpen that's been pretty freaking terrible. You know, I like Dominguez coming in for saves in fantasy, but he's a thrill a minute. I think we knew that, and that's kind of been the case again. So, sorry, I'm so distracted with this freaking noise. Give me Toronto with the cover. I swear we're getting out of here in 1 second. And then Padres and White Sox. Okay, we were in front of this one because none of us could understand the 8.5. We were under 8.5. That one's dropped to 8. I hate going under the 8. So I think I'm going to just leave that one. This one is another 1474. That's Tigers, Dodgers cover, Marlins win, Blue Jays cover. Do not bet this. That is a loser. I've seen them before, and that my friends is a loser, right? Don't bet that one. And I think that'll do it. Again, the shit went crazy. I got to all the comments. Last one from Lopez, LFG, appreciate you. Everybody, for just participating. I think this show is not for everybody, and I kind of understand that. Right, this show is not for everybody. Again, I'm surprised no one shouted out the baseball stars in the background. Respect, right? Real respect that shit. So, yeah, let's get out of here. Enjoy the weekend. Good Friday, big weekend for a lot of people of different faiths. Just be cool. Don't be a jerk. How about that? How about don't be an ass? Right? You don't convince people of faith by lecturing them. If you're going to, it's by example, and so that's, the closest to religious stuff you can hear me talking about in this show around the high holidays is if I wanted, Catholicism for you, I would want you to look to me and my family and say, that's cool. Yeah, we're very much a unit. We eat together every day. I take them to school and take them to events, and I'm very involved, and my life revolves around them. Me and my wife love each other and still joke around and fucking prank each other, and she happens to be really hot, I'm a good dude, So that shit matters. All right, let's get out of here. Appreciating all the support. Paid subs, love you so much. Remember, direct line to me. Any question, anytime. BCG before we get out of here. Speaking of which, I know that the priest tells us not to wish this before the big day, but happy Easter to you and yours. Yeah, again, I'm not into people telling us how to kind of tell us how to do stuff. Right? If you want, you could wish me a happy and blessed day every day. Right? You should do that. Right? And Daniel, I appreciate you too, brother. Thanks for being you, John. Happy Easter. It's all I know how to be. And again, I'm going to grow this the way it's meant to be, right? And this is now we're off we're off the predetermined, destiny. We're off right. We're off the supernatural. This is the natural, right? Oh, that's a good kind of lead in. I got to be me. I got to be me. The people who want this know there's literally no replacement, and that's the community that we're gonna have. And as big as that gets, as fast as it gets, or in reverse, is what it's going to be. The per person feedback is so ridiculous. I refuse to sacrifice it. Sometimes I think, like, if I did slop and if I did corny shit to try and sell, I could probably be a pretty good salesman of fucking slop, but it's just not me. And maybe that goes back to the supernatural part, right? Just try and keep a clean ledger, everybody, regardless of faith. Do the right thing. If you were to leave this planet, right? If it's your turn, are you upset? That's like the easiest way to look at your life. If you had to reflect on it right now, like, are you satisfied with the person you were? There was a time as a young adult, I was not, and I had to change it all. I have fucking dirt under these fingernails that will never, ever, ever come off. But that doesn't mean I can't do my best to try. You know what I mean? So, from all of us here at La Costa Geza, a buona Pasqua, happy Passover, all that stuff, yo. Just appreciate. Call a friend. Call your fucking parents. Call a sibling. Make amends. Make amends. Build, don't destroy. And that'll do it. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the day. When you're done with the book, enjoy the pay. And remember, when you work this freaking hard, man, the winning feels a lot less like luck, yo. Peace.